Welcome to the DMF. I am your host, Justin Yance, and this is episode 17. So, today we're going to talk about, this is my first week going back to a gym. I'm going to talk a little bit about the film Roadhouse. I'm going to talk about my PlayStation 5 search. I'm going to talk about AEW and the G1 Climax and Roman Reigns, a little bit of wrestling talk. And to finish it up, I'm going to talk a little bit about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So, enjoy. Okay, let's talk about going back to the gym. That was interesting because I wasn't expecting to get back to the gym till maybe October. But in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I am, the gyms are open. And so I decided to go down to LA Fitness and, try it out. Last Monday was my first day, and it was a little weird because it's just like there's people. There's people around me. So that got a little getting used to it. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying right there. They give us little spray bottles, so I get to spray things and, wipe it down. And you can take off your mask. You go to your station and then you can take off your mask. And that was, I don't know, for me it's just really hard for me to let people get kind of close to me, even if there's somebody that I'll walk around them, because I'm just 6 feet, get away. So that's just a little bit about the gym. Let's talk a little bit about the other foray I went to, the PlayStation 5. I went to go pre-order that, and I found I could not pre-order that. And I got there on Thursday morning, and it was raining, and I was standing next to 5 other people before the store opened, and the guy came out and said, "We're not doing pre-orders today." And we kind of all just looked at each other and we're like, "What?" Okay. And I talked to them a little bit, and I asked them what is your plan? How are you going to go about this? And they went to some of them said they tried going to Best Buy, but Best Buy had another launch of something else, so it was hard to get in there. And one guy actually went to GameStop the day before, and they told him that they weren't doing it. And then when he came back, they said, "Oh, we've already sold out." That's just ridiculous. I mean, they were supposed to have a very slow, cohesive launch. It was supposed to be all at one time. And then Walmart jumped the gun, and no one else can get the PlayStation 5. The good news is that I heard that there will be more units of the PlayStation 5 than there were of the PlayStation 4 at launch. So hopefully this will turn out to be a blessing in disguise, and I won't have to go crazy and camp out at some store, which would be really ridiculous. I'm hoping I don't have to do that. I mean, if worse comes to worse, I'll get it in January, hopefully. I mean, to be honest with you, there aren't that many great games. There are some good games, but I really like the hardware that I'm reading about, and it sounds like it's really fast, and they've improved a lot of things that were pains with the PlayStation 4. So I'm excited for the PlayStation 5. I'm not excited to wait for the PlayStation 5, but it should be an interesting foray. So, let's talk about Roadhouse when I get back. So, Roadhouse. Wow, that is that's a guilty pleasure if there ever was one. I mean, that's Patrick Swayze at the height of his 80s fame. I think he had already done Dirty Dancing, and here comes this film, and it's just 80s fun. You know, you've got blood squibs being shot out, and, you know, it's just everything you love about the 80s. I don't think that movie could exist in this period of time, because if you did it today, it would have to be darker. It would end up being like what they did with Walking Tall with The Rock in 2004, was it? I believe it came out in 2004, The Rock's Walking Tall. And, you know, they tried to make it a little darker and everything. It's like, this is an 80s movie. You know, it doesn't work. But Roadhouse is just such good little clever fun. Because you got Kelly Lynch playing the doctor. You got Sam Elliott playing like the guy that was his guide at one point in time. You got Ben Gazzara as I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly, as the villain. And if you've ever seen him before, he's such a wonderful actor. There's that word again. Can't just get away from wonderful. They're always wonderful actors, but Ben Gazzara, he's a great actor. He just, he can do just about anything. You put him in even like The Big Lebowski, he has like one scene in it, and he's just awesome. You remember him, he's memorable. I believe he did a film called They All Laughed. Yeah, is that what it was called? They All Laughed, with Peter Bogdanovich. Let me see. Can I look up his name? Oh, there we go. Ben Gazzara. Ben Gazzara. That's his name. Just butchering these names, huh? Yeah, Voyage of the Damned. Anatomy of a Murder. I mean, man, this guy had a career. Let's look at it here. What have we got here? My Dearest Son. Why didn't they show? Yeah, They All Laughed. I was correct. They All Laughed. That's a great film by Peter Bogdanovich, 1981. John Ritter's in it. Audrey Hepburn, Colleen Camp, Patty Hansen, Dorothy Stratton. A lot of great actors. So he's the villain in this film, and it's just, you got the guy coming into town. It's almost like a Western in some ways, with film noir aspects of it, because he's kind of stuck in this town. But, he kind of wants to be stuck in this town, so it's got like Western and film noir aspects of it. As the guy coming into town to clean up everything, and then, the town, can't get it together, and, you got the wealthy guy who's sucking the town dry, and he's got to fight that guy. It's great. It's great 80s fun. And it has, I already talked about this on one medium, but I want to talk about it again. One of the greatest parts is a polar bear statue, or stuff like taxidermist. I don't know how to, falls on this guy, and they cut to this shot of his face, and he's like making a face like almost like he's crying, and it is so unintentionally funny, and it falls on him. It's so funny. So I really enjoy Roadhouse. I mean, I wouldn't say it's particularly a well-done film, but for what it's supposed to be, it works. And you can watch it over and over and over again, and it's just, it's good fun. They did an aspect of Peter Griffin's character on Family Guy with Roadhouse, where he would kick somebody, and then they would cut to him, and he would go, Roadhouse. So whenever I see Roadhouse, I secretly say that in my head. So if you get a chance, and you're looking for a movie that, you don't want to really think that much about, Roadhouse is probably your film. So I'm going to talk about now professional wrestling, and that's coming up next. Okay, professional wrestling talk. Well, I just got done watching the G1, the night 1 and night 2, which was headlined by Okada and Kota Ibushi. And this was a great match, because they really, just laid it in there. Only problem is the crowd, especially in Japan, they're told only to really, they can't really cheer or boo because of the pandemic. So So they got to kind of like just clap, and it's hard to enjoy the greatness of that match. I love Okada and I love Ibushi. It's not as good as Wrestle Kingdom. I would agree with that. It's a G1 match, so there's a 30-minute time limit on every match, so that kind of lends itself to, you can't really have a 40-minute classic. Minoru Suzuki versus Ishii, that was good. That was a really good match. And Minoru Suzuki, he may be Wrestler of the Year because he's just been on fire. He's had so many great matches, and I don't know, maybe he'd win this thing. Jay White faced Shingo, and that was a good match, except for Jay White's got to get away from the interference thing. He's too good for interference and little things like that. He's playing a great heel, but he does not need to, have interference in every single one of his matches. It's kind of frustrating. But he won with the Blade Runner. Yeah, I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, the Blade Runner. And that, so we got Ibushi winning. He defeats Okada with the Kamigoya. Jay White won his match, and Minoru Suzuki won his match. And also Jeff Cobb lost to Taiji, which I wasn't really, not too thrilled about that, but oh well, he's on his way. Now, night 2 was headlined by Naito versus Tanahashi. And Hiroshi Tanahashi must have jumped into a time machine because he looks lighter, he looks faster, he looks like he de-aged 5 years. It's like the Tanahashi, for me, it looked like the Tanahashi of 2013. He just was like moving and just amazing. I was astounded that this was Tanahashi. I couldn't keep my eyes off. I was like, is that really him? And it was main event Tanahashi, which, when you put Tanahashi in like second to the last, you get a great match, but this was like, wow. And Naito was great. Naito ended up defeating Tanahashi, but man, Tanahashi was the story of this night to me. Just, wow. That's all I can say. Naito defeated him with the Justino. Destino? I can't speak. I swear I cannot speak sometimes. The Destino. Justino. Why am I saying that? That's going to be my favorite match so far of G1. Evil lost to Zack Sabre Jr., which, I don't know. Evil's just not doing it for me right now. He needs to get in the game and figure out something because he's just not doing it. But Zack Sabre Jr. won, and that was great. Kenta defeated Hiroki Goto. Goto, always close but no cigar. Toriano defeated Sonata. I don't like Toriano matches because they're always comedy, and he defeated Sonata by count out. Who cares about this match? It means nothing. Juice Robinson defeated Yoshihashi, and Juice Robinson has a new look, and he's kind of reinventing himself. Good stuff all around. We could go into more detail about this, but good first 1 and 2 nights. Let's talk about AEW. I thought this was a great show. I thought this show really highlighted a lot of what they can do. They bring all this stuff to the table. And it started off with the Young Bucks coming out and in some ways maybe turning heel as they super kicked the referee. And they just walked out. And then they paid Tony Khan, was it $5,000 or something for super kicking the referee. It was great how they just handed it to him. And Tony Khan was dressed in shorts and a shirt, which I was like, okay, if there's anything that would make him different than Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon would never be caught on camera wearing like shorts and a t-shirt, so that was interesting. Frankie Kazarian faced Adam Page, and Adam Page just great, good match, really good match. And Kenny Omega is beginning that, I believe, a heel turn slowly coming. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, who are Jurassic Express, faced FTR, and FTR is showing why they are such a great tag team, and Jungle Boy is such a great babyface. Good match. FTR win. MGF faced some guy, but it's a good way to establish him as, you know, like, I'm not done with Moxley yet. So that'll be good. Private Party faced Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. I enjoyed this match. Jericho wins with the Judas Effect. It was okay, not bad. Thunder Rosa versus Ivelisse. Thunder Rosa continues to impress. Good job all around. Lance Archer and Jon Moxley. They had a little angle here where they called him out, and Taz's guys were beating up on Moxley, and a fan came out to save him, and then they had Will Hobbs actually showed up with a chair to make the save, and Mox grabbed the mic and said that next week it's going to be him and Darby Allin and Will Hobbs versus Cage, Archer, and Starks. And basically what's happened is Taz and Jake Roberts have made the decision that, you know, we're going to help Lance Archer defeat Moxley, and once Lance Archer becomes champion, Brian Cage will get the first shot at Lance Archer. So we got a little alliance going on there. And then we had the street fight, the Best Friends versus the Proud and Powerful, Santana Ortiz. And they had face paint. And they look like characters from Dead Presidents, with the white face paint and the black eyes thing. And I really like this match. This was cool as they beat the crap out of each other. And it wasn't like a blade fest where they cut each other and they bled. They like took bumps into cars, and you could see their backs bleeding. So it was a cool match. And it ended with Orange Cassidy coming out of the trunk of a car and hitting his huge punch on Santana with a chain wrapped around his fist. Then Chuck Taylor hit Santana with a pile driver on the car, and Trent put Ortiz through a piece of plywood to get the pin and the win. And Sue arrived with a van to give the winners the ride. Just remember, this all started when the Proud and Powerful attacked Chuck Taylor and the Best Friends, Sue, their mother. Well, they're not really mother, but I forget which one's mother is there with the van. And this was the payoff to that. This was great. Good stuff. Great show. I really enjoyed this show. This show really just was another notches, and I just continue to see AEW improving. And it's like it's not a chore to watch. They're starting to figure it out. They're really starting to figure it out. Oh yeah, Matt Hardy was attacked backstage by an unknown assailant. I assume it's probably going to be Sammy Guevara, the second god. So that was good. And WWE had the only thing I cared about was Roman Reigns. He cut a kind of a heel promo, and they had a street fight, and what was it? Uso won, and he was grabbing the belt and teasing Roman Reigns with it, and they kind of teased the thing where Roman Reigns is going to beat the hell out of him. Now, something scared me that I read the other day is that they're already planning on turning this guy face. And I'm like, you've got something here with him as a heel. Don't blow it with him just turning face. If they turn him face, I'm done with WWE. Because there's like nothing that interests me other than this Roman Reigns storyline. Everything else is just boring to me. I could care less about any of these guys. But Roman Reigns, he comes off as a star. Let him continue doing this. AEW, great show. G1 Climax, night 1 and night 2, outstanding. Good stuff all around. I'm really enjoying wrestling right now. And I will end the show with a little talk on Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So, we found out Friday that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. Now, I don't know where you lie on the political spectrum, whether you're a Democrat or whether you're a Republican, but you have to admit that this woman really gave her life to service, to serving others. And it's very unfortunate that she's died. She's been battling cancer for a while now, and unfortunately, this took her life. I don't know how to say it. I mean, it's sad. It's sad that this happened. I mean, when I think of her, she's a patriot, but she's really fought for this country. They did that film called On the Basis of Sex. I haven't actually seen it, but I think I may watch it so I can talk about it maybe next week on it. But, yeah. Sad. Very sad. And I know, last time we had this happen in 2016, Scalia died. Supreme Court Justice Antoine... am I saying his name right? Scalia died, and we didn't do that appointment of the Supreme Court till the next year. And I think we should do the same thing with that. We should honor tradition. This is something we've started. If we go back against this, then we're saying one rule works and when the other doesn't. I just think we need to stay true to that. I think it's just to ram somebody through because one party is in danger of, I don't see how that's going to work. And I keep seeing this divided nation, and I just feel, we've got to come together on rules and regulations. I mean, it's unfortunate that we all have to wear masks, but, it's not that we want to wear masks, it's just something that we kind of have to do. I don't like wearing masks. It's horrible. Can't breathe very well in it, but it's an unnecessary, it's one of the tools we have to fight this. And I don't know, I have a friend in Florida, and he's in the hospital and he's finding people walking around without masks on, and it's like, how is that even possible? So I'm sorry, I'm kind of juxtaposing here, jumping off here. But yeah, I just feel we need to honor some of the trends we've set in 2016. We didn't have a president select a Supreme Court nominee during an election year. Well, it's an election year now. Let's continue with that. I mean, to me, if we don't do that, we're saying one thing's right at one point in time, and then it's wrong at this point in time. And to me, that doesn't work. There's no fairness to that. And I think that's what we need to get back to, is being fair and seeing the things that unite us as opposed to divide us. So I want to end this with a little bit of like, let me see if I can time this right. Last time I did this, I think I did it for an hour. I think I did it for 1:30. So let's give Miss Ruth Bader Ginsburg a minute of silence, starting now. Okay. Well, yeah, that's tough. So our thoughts and prayers are with Mrs. Ginsburg's family. I know they're probably going through a hard time, and yeah, let's try and be civil to one another. Let's be kind. And that's what I'm going to end on. Be kind to one another. We're all in this together. We're all on Earth. We're all in America. We're all here together. So let's all try and be friends, even though we have differences and we may have disagreements on things. Let's be human beings together. And on that, you'll hear me next week, and I don't know how else to say this. I'll see you next week. And I'll see you next time on the DMF